If you could put your GM hat on for me for a second, because we got to get into this Ben Simmons story again, because
Yeah.
it never ends. It started with him not coming to camp, them finding him over $1 million, then him showing up, then them sending him home, then them starting to find him again, then him saying he's got mental health issues. It's been a lot. They are finding him again because they don't believe that he is using the team's mental health officials. Now we're hearing could be a trade. People are interested in him. So what would you do with this situation, Isiah? How would you handle this if you were the GM of the Sixers?
First of all, if I was Morway, over the summer, I would have to recruit him back. You always have to go and you have to meet that player where he's at, and I would have flew.
Even when he's the jerk?
Yeah. I mean, in management, right, you got to try to smooth all that out before training camp happens, right? So I would have flew over, while he was walking his dog, I'd have tried to hey, we got to work this out. We got to figure this out. I'd have stayed a week wherever he was. If he'd have been dissing me or embarrassing me or whatever, at least I got to get to a point where we can talk before we get to training camp. Now, if I can't solve it then, if I can't get it done then, and I'm not sending a coach, I'm not sending other players. This is when, Shaq left Orlando to go to the Lakers because Jerry West showed up. Okay? It wasn't Pat Riley.
Right.
It wasn't Kobe. It wasn't It was like, okay. And I remember the whole Orlando situation. They weren't talking to you.
At all.
They weren't talking to you.
Yep.
And so recruiting is part of the business, and it's part of the managerial process. What I see that didn't take place in Philadelphia is that their egos got in the way, their management egos got in the way, and they didn't recruit their own player. Now their own player shows up. Now he shows up, and he's in your house, and he's at practice, and you still not recruiting him. He's acting a fool and everything else, but at the same time, if I got you, it's like when Shaq went to LSU. Dale Brown said, if I get you on campus, I got you. You can be looking at other places, but if I get you on campus, I got you. They got Ben Simmons on campus, and they're not recruiting him, and it's still volatile. So they got to trade him.
But I think for Ben, and I had to learn how to do this too, criticism comes with it. At some point, you have to see if there's some truth in the criticism. So I used to get criticized a lot. Doing too much, rapping, movies, not focusing enough. I had to sit back and assess, and you say, okay, but when you get criticized, can't falter. You have to just rise to the occasion. He was hurt because Doc said, I don't know if I can win with a championship. You don't think people have said, I don't think I can win if Shaq don't make free throws? You don't think I've heard that? I've heard that my whole career. Shaq shooting 40%, he'll never win. But you just have to rise to the occasion. So I think both sides need to put down their ego. And then, as a general manager, I seen something I didn't like. I seen a guy that looked like he was scared to me. Now, you could say other, but me and Isiah have been in those moments. I know who wants the ball and I know who don't want the ball. I've seen it. It's that look. You could average 15, 16, 18, all that, but in the fourth quarter and crunch time, you either want to be the man or you want to be the guy that's next to the man, or you don't want to be nowhere involved. And it looks like, to everybody who's criticizing, it looks like that's what it was. And they talk about one play. You got Trae Young on your hip and you under the rim. Dunk it. What'd he do? He dribbled way under the rim and he passed it out. Wasn't even looking to play, and I think that's because he didn't want to feel embarrassed going to the free throw line. It happens to the great. You don't think I was embarrassed by missing 15 out of 19 free throws? You just keep shooting. You have to persevere.
You had some organizationally that I don't think Ben has, right? You had Phil Jackson, you had Bill Sharman, you had Jerry West. You had people around you who would say, hey, it's going to be all right. I had never heard of a thing called Hacker Shack, right? And they just weren't fouling you. It really was Hacker Shack. you got fouled harder than anybody has ever got fouled in the NBA. But yet there were enough people around you to say, hey, you can't go off and just beat people up, And by the way, if you go to the foul line and you miss 2 and you miss whatever, we with you, right? I don't think Ben has that nurturing around him to get him through this rough moment. I feel like they just kind of left him out there by himself. And again, nobody went to recruit him of stature to talk to him again, when Jerry West called you, you was like, okay, well, I got to answer the phone. I don't care what was going on. Phil Jackson called you, he was like, I got to answer the phone.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Some of these other guys are calling you like, well, I ain't got to answer that phone.
This is interesting because you haven't found much sympathy for Ben on this podcast and in a lot of other areas, Isiah. So hearing you say that is interesting because I feel like you have a lot of sympathy to his situation.
Oh, they dogged him.
So let me...
No.
You really think so?
Well, here's what happened. Yeah, he had a bad moment. He had some bad moments in the playoffs, right? What your team, your coach, and your organization is supposed to do in your bad moments, they are supposed to protect you. They ain't supposed to air your dirty laundry out. Your teammates ain't supposed to be like, oh man, he the one. No. They supposed to protect you, not the fans and everybody else. Hey, when Shaq was going, 4 for 18 from the foul line, I didn't hear, Phil Jackson like dogging Shaq. I didn't hear the inside that Laker organization, Now, they may have been saying, hey, big fella, we need to work on the free throws. But they weren't publicly dissing him.
You're talking about when Doc Rivers, when they asked him, could they win with Ben? And he was like, I don't know.
They all mishandled the situation, from what I see. Now, Ben did get his feelings hurt. Now, his feelings are hurt. You, as the president of the team, you got to go, you got to put your ego aside and you got to go massage that player to get him back. Perfect example. This isn't the time to talk about, Aaron Rodgers. But let's talk Aaron Rodgers before COVID, right? Aaron Rodgers' situations was 20 times worse than Ben Simmons. What did they do? They went and talked, they massaged, Aaron Rodgers, now he back with the Packers, and, before he went out with COVID, they were 7-1,
And lying. Excuse me, did I say that out loud?
Well, anyway. he got his immunity shots.
I said, and I stand by it.
He wasn't lying. He just ain't tell y'all everything. That's all.
So you're saying if they can't figure it out, they got to trade him. It seems like that's where they are. So then let's say you're the GM of the Boston Celtics. Do you trade for him when you've seen what happens in those big moments with him?
I absolutely trade for Ben Simmons. And here's why. Because to me, Ben Simmons is not he's not a broken player. He was their best defender. He was an all-star. And he led them in assists. Now, what Ben Simmons' problems is not that he can't shoot the basketball. His problem is he can't make free throws as a point guard. As a point guard, the leader of the team, if Ben Simmons became a better foul shooter, Ben Simmons would be averaging 19 points a game, 8 rebounds, 8 assists, and wouldn't nobody have a problem with Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons needs to get in the gym and work on foul shooting. If he becomes a better foul shooter, he will add 4 to 5 points to his scoring average, and he'll be inside the post making layups and everything else, going to the foul line, just like another person that Shaq idolized that couldn't shoot, and his name was Magic Johnson. Magic Johnson could not shoot the basketball. Mark Aguirre and I working out with him one summer, and we working on all our moves, and we doing all this fancy stuff. Magic Johnson the whole summer shot free throws. We ran, did sprints and everything, and then he would shoot free throws. And we're like, man, why aren't you working on your game? And he was like, I'm working on my game. Y'all keep doing that shit y'all doing. I'm working on my game, okay? The next year, Magic Johnson is the MVP of the league because he got to the foul line 8 times a night and he was 7 for 8 from the foul line, became a 90% foul shooter, increased his scoring average from 16 to 20 or to 19, and Magic Johnson became the MVP of the league because he became a better foul shooter. If Ben Simmons becomes a better foul shooter, then this story's over.
I mean, I hear you, and I would love to be on board with what you're saying. I don't know that we've seen from Ben Simmons that he recognizes that and that he says, that's what I need to work on. Because I'm going to put you on blast here, Big. What Shaq says he's out putting on Instagram his fast cars and with his girlfriend and doing all this stuff. I don't think that we've seen that he says, I'm going to be dedicated to this. We see him in practice with a cell phone in his pocket, jingling out, taking his ball and going home. So if that's what he needs to do, okay, but is he going to do that?
My favorite, my favorite example of that is Lonzo Ball. When he came in, his jumper was very unorthodox. He put in a lot of work. His jumper looks really, really good right now.
Yep.
It's looking, but he wasn't complaining. He wasn't whining. Obviously, he worked on his game. He changed his form. Because it's hard to change your form when you've been doing it from Little League all the way to the pros, and then they say, oh, it don't look right, change it. So, for him to have the mental fortitude to go out and just work on his game and just continue to work. Now, Chicago, they're a problem team.
Yep. And you got to give his father a lot of credit,
Yeah.
His father,
his
get a lot of credit. And again,
you buying them $900 sneakers?
Nope, never that.
I did. I bought them because I support black businesses.
Zeke.
You bought them?
I did. I ain't gonna lie. I got a pair.
You bought them?
I ain't say I wear them, but I did buy them.
Zeke, let me save you $820. You can go to Walmart and get them Shaqs for $29.
I had your shoes. Wait. How about this, Shaq? I bought your shoes when Stephon Marbury came out with his shoes. I bought Marbury's shoes.
Oh, man.
Anybody who had black-owned businesses, apparel, shoes, and I was supporting.